Welcome back to Baby Takes. We are back together. It's been a week. We were waiting for the spring game to happen, and then we were waiting on Zach to be available to record. We both couldn't watch the spring game live. Zach was playing rugby. I was watching him play rugby. I did go back and watch it. Not the most fun I've ever had watching the spring game. But it was interesting. It was interesting. The second half was definitely a lot better to watch than the first half, even though a lot of the main guys I wanted to see played in the first half. But yeah, before we get deep into that, Zach, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. I did not get to watch the actual spring game itself. I've watched a few clips here and there. I've talked to some, other Nebraska guys up here and read up on it. So yeah, I feel like I watched it.
Yeah, and go ahead before we start. Inform them on the status of your UFC episode.
Yeah, so sometime this week, I will be breaking down UFC 273, which was headlined between Volkanovski and the Korean Zombie. Also had Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling on it. Bunch of great fights on that card. So I'll be breaking down probably top 3, 4, maybe 5 fights on that card.
All right, can't wait for that. So be on the lookout. This weekend, I might start my Weddle again. I've been pretty busy with everything with school and getting ready for next semester even. So, but yeah, so we're back today, obviously, to talk about the spring game. Before we start, let's listen to a word from our sponsor.
What's up, Baby Takes fans? I'm Zach here to tell you about our biggest sponsor, Bucked Up. This is something that I personally use. I use everything from creatine, pre-workout. I use their shaker balls to put on it. I have a funnel that you can take your protein and your creatine and your pre-workout with. Carry that along with you. It's got 2 caps on the ends. You can put that in your water bottle. That way you don't spill it. Like I said, they have protein. They have stuff for mass gain. Maybe you don't do that. Well, they got stuff for mass loss. They got stuff for women, whether that's pregnancy or just specifically for women, because as you know, men and women, we're designed differently. They've got flags, they've got hats, they've got shirts. Anything you could ever imagine, go use our code at checkout, Baby1, and get yourself some. It's awesome.
Thank you to Baby Takes for continuing to sponsor these videos. Remember to use our code Baby1 at checkout for what, 10% off?
10% off. Yep.
That helps us out a lot.
Help us out.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get right into the spring game. I guess I'll ask you first, who do you think impressed the most at the spring game?
So honestly, this is gonna be an odd answer, but I'm gonna go Purdy. I don't think he by any means solidified himself as the starter. I definitely think Casey Thompson solidified himself as the starter. But going in, we knew that, and Casey Thompson really didn't get a whole lot of time, especially compared to Purdy. But Purdy definitely showed the future of this team. Yeah, I think Purdy showed that, yes, this year we're going to have a veteran to, get this program back where it needs to be, get that little kickstart, but he's going to be the guy that's going to keep it going.
Yeah, I like the way Purdy looked. I think Casey Thompson is the one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Purdy really solidified himself as that backup guy. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Smothers if he stays around or if he leaves. Heinrich Harburg, didn't look terrible. Showed some flashes of some good play, some athleticism. But the guy that I think impressed the most was Anthony Grant. I think going into it, people thought Yant had a lot of potential to be the starter. And Grant and Yant might have split time. But I think Grant officially put himself over the top as the starter, rushing for a 57, 60-yard touchdown. Just continued to show that he has unreal burst, unreal athleticism. He doesn't have the breakaway speed that you would like to see, but he's got quickness, and he's got really, really good explosiveness. So I think Anthony Grant really, really showed that he is the guy that it's his spot to lose, is what I'm trying to say. Yant also looked good. He got most of his time when you couldn't tackle, so that was kind of weird, seeing as he's a guy that doesn't avoid contact. He's just going to go straight through people. So right when he got touched, they stopped it dead, which was tough for him because that's kind of his game is through contact. So that was tough. But some more guys that looked good. I think, as you said, Chubba Purdy looked good. Receivers, Trey Palmer showed speed. Omar Manning, Oliver Martin, all our receivers looked good, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's hard to judge off a spring game because no one's going to look spectacular.
Right.
You're never going to see someone just absolutely blowing the competition away. I'm going to jump into what I didn't like in the spring game, and that's the O-line. The O-line looked like a burning dumpster fire. I mean, same as last year. I get we have Prochaska and Cochran out. I have heard Cochran might move to center, possibly, if he's not needed at tackle, but I believe he will be needed at tackle. But if you're going to have Grant, and your other running backs back there, and Casey Thompson and that great receiving core, you better have a good O-line or none of it's going to work. Also kicking, same kicking woes that we always see. We bring in, we brought in the number one JUCO kicker and the number one, or not the number one of the top high school kickers. And the high school guy's not there yet. I get that. But, I mean, it's just like, come on. Yeah. You got to pick it up.
Special teams as a whole, I think, looked improved.
Yes.
Either caught or let go. All the punts. There was no punt returns. They weren't allowing that. But we didn't muff any punts, which is an upgrade from last year. And then our new punter looked amazing, just bombing punts. He did shank one a little bit, but other than that, he was just bombing them. Looked real good.
I also think people need to realize, it's like I know a lot of the football guys up here, and you're not spring practice is not like fall practice. It's not even close. The guys up here rarely ever wear pads. They go for about an hour 15, hour and a half. And right now they'd only be 3 weeks in.
Right. I think Nebraska's only had 14 practices before this, so you can't judge too much.
You can't judge it. Especially on the new guys. But when they come back about June, July, go up to Lincoln, get camp going, and I got some good hope. I hope they can go out to Ireland and show them what's up.
Yeah, before we get too far into it, one guy I definitely missed, and I think we both missed him. Garrett Nelson looked like a beast.
Yeah.
He had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was our O-line just struggling, or maybe Garrett Nelson's just like that dude. He looked so improved. They were talking about it on the broadcast, just his technique and his bend and his flexibility and his speed, his athleticism just looked so much better. And he really dominated the offense for the whole game, at least when he was in.
Yeah, something else I really liked was the D-backs. So these D-backs saw 6 different QBs, which you'll never do in a game. And with seeing 6 different QBs, you're gonna get 6 different looks, and then you're gonna have to change 6 times. And they allowed 24 out of 49 pass attempts.
Yeah.
So under 50%. That's pretty good.
The defensive backs looked good. I was seeing some stuff like there was a touchdown where Miles Farmer definitely had the opportunity to lay out one of our backup receivers. And people were like, he's not playing hard. He gave up on the play. It's like, it's a spring game. You're not going to lay out your teammate and risk injury or injury to yourself. Like, yes, you care about winning and you care about stopping the other team, but there's got to be a point where this is just a spring game and you can't risk
Absolutely
for a highlight play or winning a meaningless game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that people that think like the first half wasn't fun to watch, but I get it. Like, I'm not mad that they didn't tackle in the first half. Like, I totally understand. You're 14 practices in. You're not going to risk injuring somebody when you've already lost one of your top skill positions in Thomas Fadone for we don't know how long.
Yeah, that's why they ran the spring game so odd, is because injuries, and like you said, we're 14 practices in. We're not going to run some full out game. That's just not smart.
Yeah, the spring game in reality is for the fans. Like, it's good to like scrimmage, but you can scrimmage in a practice. Like, you're not gaining anything from having like a legit game and having like a score or anything. Sure, it's like competitiveness, or you get to see these game-like situations. People get to call plays, but Mark Whipple didn't even call plays, and he's going to be the guy that's calling plays for us. So I did see there was a weird trick play that I didn't think we were going to see any trick plays. Little double pass, threw it out to Alante Brown. Alante Brown ended up tucking it and running, but he obviously was looking for a pass. Very surprising to me. I thought we were going to keep it very simple, but I guess that's not too crazy. Nothing out of the blue. But I was impressed at how the defense looked because we were losing Cam Taylor-Britt, JoJo Doman, Ben Stilley, all these guys that had an impact, and I believe we will take a little bit of a step back from last year, at least at the start. But I think we're going to be fine. Isaac Gifford looked really good in the spring game, playing that JoJo type role. He looked really athletic. So really excited for the defense.
Yeah, for sure. And just like coming up this season, I really hope we can run the ball more. That's what we struggled with last year, is that we had good skill positions and we could pass the ball well, but there comes a time where you have to just run the ball, especially in the Big Ten, and we couldn't.
Yeah.
So that's something we need to do.
Especially with this year, you got Anthony Grant, Ramir Johnson. Ramir Johnson was the starter last year towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
And he might be the third string guy right now. You got Anthony Grant, who I think is the 1 right now. Yant, who I think is 2. And then Ramir Johnson's 3. But you got to remember, you got Gabe Irvin. Marquise Stepp is still in there somewhere. So I thought our wide receivers were going to be our strongest point of the season this year. But it really looks like our running backs are going to be something to keep an eye on for sure. I think we'll finally have a running back be our leading rusher after I think a Divino Zigbo was the last time we had an actual running back be the leading rusher for our team. So that's exciting.
Sorry. Did it go white on your side?
What?
Oh, sorry. I think my computer is messed up. But yeah, no, I think this season, like people have asked me, they're like, realistically, what do you think Nebraska will do this season? Like, honestly, I'm gonna say realistically 7 wins.
I could see that.
I think we have a fairly easy Big Ten schedule.
But it's still the Big Ten, you know?
It is, but we do have a fairly easier side on it.
Yeah.
And so, it is what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, so the spring game was different. It was weird. People are going to overreact to it. It's how it works every year. I just can't wait to see first game in Ireland, as Zach said before. So that's all I got. Zach, you got anything else?
Nope, that's all for me.
All right. Watch out for Zach's UFC video coming out maybe soon. My Weddles this weekend. There might be a Weddle and a Wordle on the page right now as you're watching this. So we will see you guys next time.